Alrighty, just thought I'd get the slightly better phone out and give you a bit of a view of my sheep actually doing more visible work than the average government does. You can see here, this is actually a track that I see if I can, yeah, there it is, right there. That was a track I mowed quite a while ago to go down to the see the little white bit there, IBCs that water the vines that I've got down there. And I sort of walked this once or twice, but I tell you what, she's all pretty flaming. You can't really see it like this, but when you look at it more like that, she's all pretty well hammered down. Yeah, it's very hard to show it in the camera, but believe me, she's higher on either side, and you got the track in the middle there. And they've done a pretty good job, as they often do, of adopting another track to be their own track. And they've done the same thing where I drive the car through the paddock to my parents' house. They tend to always walk up where the car goes, and they make their own little tracks. But here we go, all this stuff here. This here was just about solid, impenetrable, out to right around sort of there-ish. I mean, these were large plants, this is variegated thistle, this is what this is. These were large, and there wasn't much of a gap in between the whole lot of them. And, you know, some people consider these weeds, and the sheep consider them actually the first choice of food, in case you didn't notice. A plant like this one, for instance, this would be, should be out about at least a foot either side. And, yeah, well, yeah. They also, they made a good job of the heads. The seed heads were all on top of these. They're like a blooming, they're probably about, like 2 inch wide, and then they've got spikes on them, and they're like purple, and then in the end they go and get all this white fluff, and all the seeds are underneath the white fluff. And of course the cockatoos and the pink and grey galahs, which we don't have many of here, but a real massive pink and grey galahs in Western Australia, because they eat all the wheat. And during harvest season, this flocks are like 60 or 70, you know, in one flock, and they're just all over the place. But we get a handful of them here, plus the white cockatoos and the sulphur-crested cockatoos, which are like white cockatoos with a little yellow thing on their head. And they usually eat them, but the sheep, I wish there was one left so I could actually show, yeah, bit of one here. It gives you an idea of the spikes on it. And these have got these spikes around. I mean, these are sort of weaker because they're dried out, but they're usually quite hard when they're still green. And they go right the way around. I mean, look at the flipping thing. It's more than an inch long. And they go right the way around. But all the same, sheep, for some reason, just go ahead and bite the blast of things off on basically every single one. And, you know, if the cockies don't get them first, well, the sheep flaming will. There's one that's still partially there. As you can see, there's a fluff in the inside there, but there's some of the smaller spikes, and then around the outside, there's a good one there. You get bigger spikes. But I mean, they're more than an inch long, that one there is anyway. And it doesn't matter, they sort of chew in from like the back, and then they eat the whole lot. And you see them with these things with a bunch of spikes, they're just like this, and then when you see them doing it, it's hard to believe they're actually just eating something that's spiky. But I want to show you something else which is more important than getting rid of a bunch of these things. And these do have a lot of spikes on the leaves. Yeah. But anyway, I'll show you something better. There's another stack there. That was the larger box thorns burn stack from last year. And there's the other one. They've done the same to that, but there's no need me showing the same thing twice. Here's a few African box that got glyphosated. And here's one that didn't. Now this isn't as big as the ones obviously down there. As you can tell, I've got just a few too many. But they don't tend to really get into the big ones, but the small ones that, you know, I deem to be a little bit too much of a waste of glyphosate at the moment. Well, you know, when you're unemployed and you don't have a great deal of money, you don't want to waste half a flaming litre just on one plant if you can get heaps of little plants with that. So I didn't worry about this one. The sheep did. Now, here, they're flipping bitten the spikes off the end. I couldn't believe it. Some of these are missing spikes on the end, but they've chewed the hell out of these. These here, all these, that you can see openly, we're all covered with leaves like that. I mean, the leaves are right out near the ends on the whole lot of them. And you can see where the leaves used to be, or the little lump there, little lump there, where they're all sort of have been. And as crazy as it sounds, I can stand on the stuff and stab me right through the sole of my boot. I can drive a car tyre over it and I'll puncture a car tyre, but the sheep will eat it. Unbelievable. They'll still get their nose in here and eat a little bit, eat a little bit. They just keep working their way around. My father had a small one that was, he made a chicken wire guard up, which was reasonably large for a small tree he planted. Well, one of these happened to be in there, and, you know, basically it grew bigger than the tree. But the chicken wire was like that, and it was almost like hedge trimmed exactly to the chicken wire by the sheep eating every bit that comes through the chicken wire. And to see all these bare like that, you know, there's one leaf still on there, but to see them all bare like that, it's quite surprising. And my father told me this had happened, and it's right, you know. At least with these smaller box thorns, they're beating the hell out of the damn things. And this is one of the really good benefits of having sheep, because, you know, he said they won't kill them, but they'll sort of keep them stunned and keep them under control a bit. So, yeah, I mean, they don't touch the big ones, but the small ones, they'll keep an eye on them for you. And, you know, let's face it, when a lot of grass is all just friggin' dry crap, you know, like a light blooming yellowy crap, and this is still green, well, of course they're going to go for the green stuff. But they're so used to getting spiked by the thistles and all that it's no big deal to have a go at this spiky thing as well, you know. Heaven knows what would happen if I put a prickly pear out here, but I might go and have a look at the agaves and see if they had a go at them as well.